BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Carla Kopp from Weird Giraffe and Galactic Raptor Games, and I want to show you a game I forgot that you've done the solo version for, With a Smile and a Gun, from my friend Jon Vallerand. It's going to be out on Kickstarter pretty soon. What's your involvement with a Smile and a Gun?
So I designed the solo mode. Jon contacted me. He asked me to do it, and I did it. I was really excited about it because I've started to do solo modes for not my companies. But yeah, that one was one where it came together pretty fast. So for the people that don't know, With a Smile and a Gun, it was originally a 2-player game where you are trying to like earn the most points, and it's in like this Prohibition different future, alternate.
It's Al Capone, but as if Al Capone didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Different.
It's a cool theme.
But yeah, I really like in it where
Lots
you are
dice.
choosing your dice. Yeah, like depending on what the dice do, because like you choose dice for movement, but you also choose it for your action. But you have to make sure to choose the correct numbers. So like it's an area control game, and you want to get the areas that you want, and you can kind of prevent your opponent from going to the same spots as you if you take the right dice away from them. So
you got to be careful though when you're going for those areas. Now, Steve, that picture that I have, that's your character and the other character, and you're going to go around those 9 spaces on the board. Okay. Each one of those 9 spaces represents a city area, and those little tokens represent the points that you can get, all the different things, hats or contraband or whatever it is. The police are also out there, and they're trying to take away the contraband. So you're trying to get there before the police raid it. But the trick is when you're trying to get your majority in the area, if you want, just keep picking all the big dice, move around the board, and take the biggest actions. Take that 5, take that 6, and now you got tons of actions. But the more actions you take and the more noise you make, what do you think happens, Steve?
You're drawing attention to yourself.
You're drawing attention to yourself. It's brilliant. John's saying, hey, you can take all the big actions you want, but you're going to draw lots of attention from the cops. And if you have more heat or you have more activity than the other person, I've only played it with 2. So I don't know if it plays more people. I think it's just 2, right? Yeah. So if you draw more attention to yourself than the other player, if I do more than Steve, then that means Steve's going to get a bonus because he was able to, kind of slide some things past the police. I tell you, very brilliant design, Carla. What's the solo like? What are you doing for the solo?
So you're going against an automated player. So you're trying to take the dice away from them because they're going after the same things that the police are. They're trying to get the majorities on the same different. There's like drugs and guns and the third thing that I always forget. But yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's something.
Clip-on pens?
No, I don't think it should be. I don't think it's clip-on pens.
So yeah, you're trying to prevent them from going around. They're kind of dumb, but they are super powerful. Like instead, like when you go around, you put down 3, 2, and 1 of your cubes for the area control part. But the robot goes around and they put down 4, 3, 2. So it's a bit tougher to go against them. So you want to try to get them to like go into places that you don't care about by taking the dice that they need and like just shoving them away so they can't keep up or making them go too far ahead, that sort of thing.
You play over 3 or 4 rounds, something like that? I'm trying to remember.
3 rounds.
3 rounds, yeah. Okay.
And it ends up being basically the same game, a 2-player game, but 1-player automated.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you? I'm showing a shot of what I think is the kind of coolest part. Look, everything you've heard, Steve, you might have heard in other games. It's area majority, right? It's dice rolling, and yeah, even some of that is where you're controlling your actions. Here's where the twist is. He's got 2 cards. One of them for the players. I can't remember what it's called, infusion or influence, something like that. Infusion, yeah. And that is like the special rule that everybody's going to have to deal with, right? And you also have what's called the shadow. Imagine the big boss who's really pulling the strings behind the scenes of all the little mob bosses. You think you're in control of the city. What you don't really know is the shadow really is in control. So everything we do during the game, we have a special benefit for us, but the shadow always takes his cut or something like that. Okay. And that's what these other cards are for. And what I like about this, there's the historian, something out in the background that they can do it. John, now the copy I sent is an early prototype, so not all the cards are in there. I'm sure he's going to reveal more during the Kickstarter page. But one of my favorite things is how these two cards interplay. Even with only 3 or 4 cards of each, the combination, Steve, change the game every time. Mm-hmm. If one of them says that, control tokens are going to disappear anytime you go there, and the other one says you really need to have a majority if you want to get this certain section, well, all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, how did these two things work? So do you still play those 2 cards in the solo game?
Yes. So yeah, you still have that interplay, and I really like that because sometimes there's the friendly version where both of them are kind of positive, but sometimes you can get the shadow, which is you have to control the shadow because it'll do negative things. The cards are very different, which is it leads to a lot of replayability.
That is cool, and that's with a smile and a gun. It's got it comes from a quote, if I remember right, from Al Capone that said, "You can get a lot of things done with a smile, but you can get a lot more done with a smile and a gun." Yeah, and that's where John came up with it. So it's got a cool theme. I think he's gonna clean up the graphics. So the pictures that I'm showing you, that's not the final production. That's just kind of early prototypes that he was letting me play. So that was fun, and that is with the smile and a gun.